If it's a work session, a normal work session, then your policies do not allow you to take action, and then you would refer that either to the October 10th or October 24th meeting for a formalized vote.
Okay. And Mr. Cantrud, do you want to give us some of your insight about if we held a workshop to, one, bring the three council members up to speed, but then also talk about potential strategies that we may use if we are going ahead and negotiating with a hauler?
Mayor and Council, what I can tell you is if you wanted to have that next week as a work session, of course, that would be open to the public, presumably to have them watch. If you want to take any opinions, you could certainly do that. I would just advise you that whatever is handed out as background information is confidential at this point. You did do an RFP. That is what you're here to essentially tell staff to go forward with. All of the underlying confidentiality that goes along with the RFP process, meaning the other, we'll call them contestants or proposers, all that information remains confidential. To the extent necessary, you can talk about it in an open meeting, and it doesn't lose that confidential status. And once a decision is made, yes or no, as far as the contract goes, then that those proposals become public. But again, you can talk about them. I think just out of respect, it probably makes sense to refer to them as proposer number 1, proposer number 2, things of that nature. But yes, you can do that in the open meeting without violating any data practices as far as the proposals go.
Okay. Are there any council members, Mr. Nephew?
Mr. Mayor, it seems like on these logistics and issues, it's maybe goes beyond the realm of just approval of the agenda. Obviously, we've told people there's not apparently a will of the council to take action tonight until further information is done. But I'd suggest that we should go on with the rest of the agenda when we get to this point, talk about how we'd want to proceed to give the whole council all the information we want and anything else. But people should know that we wouldn't be taking any action at this point.
Okay. Mr. Lannis?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I would say that I would be in favor of Mr. Nephew's suggestion to, I think there's some confusion out in the audience, and there are a number of people that have come out tonight to have, or to certainly be a part of the conversation if they were going to be allowed to speak. But in terms of just protocol and the way we're trying to establish our agenda, I think it would make more sense to continue with the agenda as it's proposed, and then when it comes to that, we can make that decision at the time. So I think we could leave it as it is and then explain what our choices are, our options are at that point.
Okay. Mr. Copen?
That was my point of clarification. We have to, if you want to table it, you have to do it during that appropriate time. And I want to be on the record that I'm not in favor of tabling this. I want to be on record that people know that I'm not in favor of organized hauling. And I hope someone out in the press is listening.
Marv?
Thank you.
Okay, so I would agree with the council members that say that we should finish setting the agenda. And so I want to make sure that I understand on this particular item, though. Are you indicating that you believe that we should leave the item on the agenda, but that really it would become a discussion about when we're really going to talk about it, basically, and that we would be taking no action on it? Is that?
I think we're kind of informally indicating there will be no action, and a motion to table would be in order after we have our discussion about what we're going to table it to and any other preliminaries.
Okay. Are there any other items having to do with the agenda that we need to add or subtract? Any council presentations? Anything like that? Ms. Juneman.
Council presentations and one grand reopening at the MCC.
Any others?
I'll offer a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition of Councilmember Juneman's.
Second.
All right, Mr. Nephew has made a motion. It was seconded by Mr. Lannis, and that would be to approve the agenda that we have before us. And just in case it makes any difference to any of you, it sounds like when we get to item I-1 that we will have further discussion about how to move forward in the process, and then there's a fair chance that we would table the item for